There is an old fear that almost never gets spoken out loud. Not simply the fear of death or ghosts or whatever waits in the dark, but the fear that something inside you could leave the body and fail to fully return. Across occult writing, near-death accounts, sleep paralysis stories, and out-of-body experiences, the same image keeps appearing. A body lying still, a mind awake, a person trapped between two states, sensing that something invisible is holding them in place. Some people describe it as a cord. Others describe it as a doorway, a current, a force, or a presence. For this episode, we are calling it something else: the Astral Shackles. It is not an ancient official term, and it should not be treated as proof of another world, but it gives a name to one of the darkest ideas in paranormal belief, that the soul, the double, or the conscious self can become tethered, blocked, restrained, or trapped. And what makes the idea disturbing is not just that people have imagined it. It is that some people claimed they experienced something close to it, long before the modern internet gave these stories a place to spread. One of the strongest accounts comes from an early 20th-century writer named Oliver Fox. Fox did not describe astral projection as a peaceful dream. He believed he had found a method of leaving the body through what he called the Pineal Door. In his account, the body was not simply asleep. It was more like a locked room, and the exit point was not somewhere in the outside world. It was hidden inside the self, somewhere behind fear, pressure, and altered consciousness. Fox described passing through this inner doorway as painful, strange, and terrifying. There was pressure, sound, mental force, and the feeling of crossing a boundary that the human mind was never meant to cross while the body remained alive. Then, if the attempt succeeded, Fox believed he could separate from the physical body and move through another state of reality. But the most unsettling part of his story is not that he claimed he could leave. It is that he later claimed the door closed. After one of his final pineal door experiments, Fox said the method no longer worked. Each time he tried to enter the trance state, a black symbol appeared before his inner vision, blocking the way forward and stopping the experience before it could begin. He called the symbol a crux ansata, a black ankh. No matter what he tried, the doorway would not open again. The exit he believed he had discovered inside himself had become sealed, as if something had decided he had gone far enough. Then came the explanation that makes Fox's account so useful for this story. He claimed spiritual beings told him they had sealed his door because he was becoming exposed to forces that could sweep him away before his earthly work was finished. In other words, Fox did not describe the astral body as completely free. He described it as something with limits, something that could be blocked, something that could be protected, restrained, or imprisoned by forces he believed existed beyond ordinary sight. But Fox also left another possibility open. Maybe no higher beings had sealed anything at all. Maybe the block came from his own unconscious fear, after repeated attempts to force his mind through an experience that terrified him. That is what makes his account so interesting. If you believe the occult explanation, the astral world has gatekeepers. If you believe the psychological explanation, the mind can become its own prison. Either way, Fox gives us the same image: a doorway inside the self and something refusing to let it open. Another figure who shaped this world of belief was Sylvan Muldoon. Muldoon claimed to have experienced out-of-body states from a young age, and his writings became some of the most influential accounts in early astral projection literature. But where Fox gave us the door, Muldoon gave us the cord, the silver cord. In this belief, the astral body may leave the physical body, but it is never truly separate. It remains attached by an invisible connection. That connection is often imagined as a living thread between the body in bed and the double that has moved away from it. It is one of the most haunting images in astral projection belief because it is both comforting and frightening. A cord can save you. It can keep you linked to the body and guide you back when the experience ends. But a cord can also hold you. It can become a tether, a restraint, a reminder that escape was never complete. Muldoon and Carrington described the silver cord as the difference between projection and death. If the cord remains intact, the traveler returns. If it is severed, according to the belief, the body can no longer continue living. That turns the silver cord into something deeply unsettling. It is protection and captivity at the same time. The thing that keeps the soul from being lost may also be the thing that proves it was never truly free. Muldoon's accounts also describe the projected body being pulled back by fear, shock, emotion, or disturbance. A person may drift away, observe, or explore, but the physical body still has a claim that cannot easily be escaped. A sudden sound, a break in concentration, a movement in the room, or a surge of fear can pull the traveler back. Not gently, not always by choice, more like a prisoner being dragged by an unseen chain. This is why the silver cord matters so much to the idea of astral shackles. It is not only a mystical detail, it is the image of divided existence. One part of the self reaching outward, and another part refusing to let go. By the 20th century, out-of-body experiences began moving away from old occult language and into a more modern world. One of the most famous names connected to that shift was Robert Monroe, whose accounts brought the subject to a wider audience. Monroe was not originally trying to become an occult figure. He was involved in audio, altered states, and consciousness research. But he later claimed that he began leaving his body unexpectedly and traveling in what he described as a second body. His experiences felt different from the candlelit world of earlier occult writers. They belonged to a modern age of headphones, frequencies, experiments, sleep states, and controlled exploration. But underneath the new language, the same fear remained. Because even in modern out-of-body accounts, the body is never completely gone. It is still there, waiting, calling, anchoring the person to the world they tried to leave, like a silent weight beneath every attempted journey. And this is where the story becomes more complicated. Because not everyone who describes leaving the body is part of an occult tradition. Similar experiences appear in medical reports, psychological studies, sleep disorders, trauma responses, and strange moments of altered awareness. Some people describe floating above themselves. Others describe seeing their own body from across the room. Some feel detached from their limbs, their voice, or their reflection, as if the self has slipped slightly out of alignment with the flesh. That does not prove astral projection, but it does prove something important about human experience. The feeling of separation from the body is real to the person having it, even when the cause may be neurological, psychological, or sleep-related. And for many people, the closest they will ever come to the feeling of astral shackles is sleep paralysis. The mind wakes up, but the body does not. The room is familiar, the person is conscious, and yet movement becomes impossible. During sleep paralysis, people often know exactly where they are. They can see the bedroom, sense the bed beneath them, and understand that they should be able to move. But the body remains locked, as if it no longer belongs to them. Some feel pressure on the chest. Some sense a presence nearby. Some see shadows, figures, or shapes in the room. Others feel themselves floating, sinking, vibrating, rotating, or beginning to separate from the body entirely. Science connects sleep paralysis to the disrupted boundary between waking consciousness and REM sleep. During REM, the body is naturally immobilized, so we do not act out our dreams. But sometimes the mind wakes before that paralysis fully releases. That creates one of the most terrifying states a person can experience. The dream is still close. The body is still locked. The person is awake enough to panic, but not awake enough to escape the machinery of sleep. This may be the most grounded version of the astral shackles. No demons are required. No hidden plane has to be proven. Just the brain caught between two states, leaving the person conscious inside a body that will not obey. But it is easy to understand why older cultures filled that moment with spirits. If you woke in darkness, unable to move, feeling a presence near you, what explanation would your mind reach for before modern sleep science existed? A witch sitting on the chest, a demon in the corner, a shadow at the foot of the bed, a dead relative watching silently, a force pinning the body down, stopping the soul from rising, speaking, or escaping. Before it became a sleep disorder, it was folklore. Before it became a neurological state, it was a haunting. And before people had medical language for it, they had stories about unseen forces that came in the night. Near-death accounts also circle this same fear. In many of these stories, people describe seeing their body from outside themselves, moving toward light, hearing voices, or sensing that they are being pulled away from ordinary life. One of the most famous disputed examples is often called Maria's shoe account. The claim is that a hospital patient experienced an out-of-body state during a medical crisis and later described a shoe on a hospital ledge. Supporters have used the story as possible evidence that consciousness can see beyond the body. Skeptics have challenged the details and argued that the case is far from conclusive. For this episode, the point is not to treat it as proof. The important point is what the story reveals about us. People do not only want to know whether consciousness can leave the body, they want to know whether it can return with evidence, something seen, remembered, and carried back. Because if even one person could leave the body and return with proof, then the body would no longer seem like the boundary we thought it was. It would become a doorway, and doorways always raise darker questions. If the self can leave, what controls the return? If consciousness can move beyond the body, what keeps it attached? And if something can travel outside the flesh, could something else stop it from coming back? This is where astral projection stories often shift from wonder into horror. The terrifying part is not always what the person claims to see beyond the body. Sometimes it is what they feel afterward once they are back. A change in the room, a pressure in the mind, a sense that the door was opened too far, a fear that something followed them, a belief that they are no longer alone inside their own life. In occult language, this becomes an attachment, an entity, a cord, a parasite, or a spiritual influence. In psychological language, it may be fear, trauma, dissociation, obsession, or the aftershock of an intense altered state. Different explanations. Same human terror. Something invisible has a grip on me. Something has crossed a boundary. Something has touched the part of the self that was supposed to remain private, protected and safely hidden. That may be why the idea of astral shackles feels so powerful. It sits exactly between the paranormal and the psychological. If you believe in the astral plane, the shackles are forces beyond the body. If you do not believe in the astral plane, the shackles may be the mind's own emergency brake, a survival mechanism, a fear response, a boundary that appears when consciousness gets too close to something it cannot process. Oliver Fox saw a sealed door. Sylvan Muldoon described a silver cord. Robert Monroe described a second body. Sleep paralysis sufferers describe a body that will not obey. Near-death accounts describe a self looking back from outside the flesh. None of these accounts prove that the soul can be trapped, but together they reveal something more intimate. Human beings have always suspected that the self is not as simple, stable, or secure as the body it inhabits. We dream, we dissociate, we panic, we grieve. We watch ourselves from the outside in memory, shame, fear, and trauma. And sometimes, in the dark, the body feels less like a home and more like a locked room. Maybe the astral shackles are not chains forged in another dimension. Maybe they are the name we give to the boundary between life and death, body and mind, dream and waking, belief and terror. Maybe they are the invisible limit that keeps us human, the force that stops consciousness from drifting too far, the final thread between the person we are in the body and whatever we fear we might become outside it. So, the real question is not whether the soul can escape. The real question is much darker. If something inside us ever did step outside the body, would we truly be free? Or would we finally discover that the chain had been there all along?